Jesus Christ, dude. I'm so heartbroken for what's happening with Keiichi, honestly. I gotta be honest. Again, I played he's so unaware of like everything that's happening. It's super creepy, and I will just, well, whatever, dude. I don't know. Of course, I had no intention of eavesdropping. If it wasn't just for that word. Must have been an Onikakushi. I was separated from the daily monotony of school. I wasn't able to escape from Oyashiro-sama's curse, or shadow. But of course, Oyashiro-sama was the guardian deity of this place. As long as I was in Enmamisawa, I wouldn't be able to escape. Maybe it was because I was walking outside, but my appetite had suddenly returned. I might as well buy a snack with the change from the examination fee on the way home. Contemplating that, I turned into a familiar street. At that moment, I heard a car horn abruptly honk behind me. Guessing it's the cop? Was he really walking so far into the middle of the road without being in a car's way? I moved farther off to the side, but the horn was still honking at me. I turned around. Ah, there you go. Yes, it is the cop. Hello, Oishi. Good day to you. It was Oishi-san. He stepped out of his car, AC in full blast, and waved at me. What's up today? School on break? Just not feeling well, so I took the day off. Nosy motherfucker. I'm like, why are you so nosy, dude? Anyway. I was about to buy lunch and head back home. That's rude. Oh shit, he's inviting me to lunch, huh? I will probably say no, honestly. Like, I don't want to. I'm not feeling well. If you're not feeling up for it, don't mind me. Please let me go. I would like to not go to lunch. I was just going to lie down after going home anyway. I didn't really have a goal. Oh man. I expect you rather avoid using one of the local places. Let's go into town. It's a bit of a drive. Is that alright? I'm also not feeling very comfortable with you, but alright. I know a pretty good place. I'm finally going to understand Oishi-san's roundabout way of saying things. He probably wanted to talk to me about stuff that would be difficult to discover while in Amisawa. So we said yes. We said yes. I went with Oishi-san, riding on his frigid car. It was almost as if the bright sunlight outside was a lie. I'm sorry about calling you so late last night. Did your parents get angry at you? No. I recalled Rena, who had been listening to the phone conversation all that time, separated from me by just a door. Even now, in the brightness of the sunlight, the thought still creeped me out. With a big bump that jolted the car, the road connecting to the city changed from dirt to pavement. My head swiveled back with a sudden realization. That's right. This was where Tomitake-san died. They've hit a snag on the investigation regarding Tomitake-san. Oishi-san spoke while peering at me from the corner of his eye. They believe it was caused by hallucinogens, given how he was clawing out his own throat. Okay, so what they're saying is he was drugged. But a drug that could cause that to happen so suddenly is extremely hard to come by. Bear in mind, of course, the autopsy was done with that premise in mind, but we didn't find any leads. So if the autopsy say that there were no drugs in his body, then why are you suggesting that it was drugs? You know that thing you see in comics all the time? Where there's a drug that doesn't leave any traces after being consumed? 86. Sukin or something or other, yeah. Well, it's pretty common. But you see, there doesn't seem to be any kind of joke that will cause Tomitake-san to react like that. Yeah, like, you know, with your own nails, doing that, I feel so weird doing that shit, right? Like, I go crazy about it. Then you're saying the police concluded Tomitake-san just died from the curse? I couldn't help but feel that the police were worthless. I just wanted the idea of a curse to be dissociated from Tomitake-san's mysterious death. Unfortunately, that's how it looks right now. But putting that aside, the cause of the death, without a doubt, he was surrounded by a group of people and had taken a beating before he died. There was no curse, but an incident that unquestionably involved other humans. Could the girl be involved, perhaps? Like, maybe she was helping the other dudes. That made me a bit relieved. We passed in front of the rather desolate, but still busier than Hinamizawa, train station. The car pulled into a restaurant parking lot and I followed Oishi-san into the shop. It was pretty crowded, but there were only adults at this hour. Of course, there couldn't be children in here in the middle of a weekday. Okay. Do no smoking, okay. We were led by a peculiarly dressed waitress at our table. I sat with Oishi-san in the booth. So, what do you think? Aren't the waitress outfits here, kid? I guess, yeah. The shop is always quite busy. It's more about the waitresses than the food, you see. Okay. You're leading, okay. Am I really? Okay, so now this dude is creepy as fuck. Not for the same reasons that Rena is, but alright. Yo, but that looks great. Regardless of how the waitresses looked, the food was decent enough. Finish your meals while talking over some sane topic. Oishi-san's after-meal cup of coffee arrived at the table. Yesterday, we talked about Hinamizawa's past, didn't we? That it was the village of man-eating demons or something like that. I didn't know much about it myself, so I asked my mother about it this morning. Oishi-san took out the notepad that was stuffed into his breast pocket. Turns out that Hinamizawa used to be called Onikakushi, the demon's abyss. Onikakushi. That's quite the name. The name is still around. The name is still around. The swamp where the Shinto priest's wife drowned herself is still called Onikakushi. Onikakushi, something like that. You said that the depths of that swamp connect to the realm of demons. Of course, nobody had told me anything about that, about such an ominous swamp. And you see, it appears that with both fear and rebirth, a respect born of fear. I guess you could say it was kind of like a deification. A village on the human creatures. Seems the demons were Zenin, or mountain-dweller mystics of sorts. Villagers with incurable illnesses will be taken to Onikakushi to be healed, for example. Even if we are calling them demons, Tengu, long-nosed goblins, or Zenin will be more an apt description. They don't seem like terrible people, even though they were called demons. But they were still man-eating demons. According to the story my mother told me, as a payment for treating the son's illness, let us eat the mother who brought him here. That was apparently how things were. Okay. The price of curing her son was herself. That's unsettling. Of course, the mother took her son and ran. Then, you see, all the villagers of Onikakushi, the demons, chased, surrounded, and captured them. The entire village, apparently. That's quite a frightening thing to imagine. I'm thinking about Tomitake-san and how he was murdered and beaten by a bunch of people. Like, perhaps that's what happened. They're trying to keep that type of culture. I don't know. In the end, it seems both the mother and son were caught and eaten. The end. There's a problem with this story. Like, you reckon that there's a problem with that story? But witnesses in this story were eaten, so nobody will be able to tell the tale. There are plenty of old fables like this. Yeah. Yeah, like, they're fables, I guess. In contrast to the ghastly tale, Oishi-san laughed heartily while sipping his coffee. Yeah, I'm guessing that he just doesn't believe in those type of tales, or he's like just chilling. But well, there are quite a few other tales where the demons come from Onikakushi, band together and to capture their prey. I recall that MION said all the villagers united and fought against the dam construction. I saw similarities with how that part about unification overlapped. They will always hunt down a single person, and they chose who it was going to be beforehand. That caught my attention. Oishi-san also appeared to be pondering what it meant. My mother told me that you must never interfere with the demon's hunt. You know, something that I'm wondering perhaps is that what if the girls did the whole Tomitake-san, you are one of us, to avoid, because they knew that Tomitake-san was going to be the next victim, and they were trying to avoid it by saying, he's one of us, so like, please do not hurt him. Just a theory to avoid antagonizing the girls for now, because like, we don't know if they are indeed part of the murderer. I don't know what happened to Tomitake's and also to the girl. You should just hold up in your house and hide under the covers, she said. So what does this all mean? It means you mustn't ever help or protect the prey. Uh-oh. As long as you don't disturb the demon's hunt, no harm will fall upon the villagers. It seems there's that kind of rule. Basically, don't help the victims. Pretend you didn't see the atrocities, in other words. What happens if you break the rule? Well, they're man-eating demons after all. Many parts of that tale caught my attention. We also helped Tomitake, but also MION, Rena, Rika, and Satoko were around him, and nothing has happened to them. Well, Rena went crazy, but like, only that, I guess, so far. Parts of the story he told me overlap with his theory that the entire village was on the crime. Even if it wasn't the whole village, it was conceivable that the villagers were hiding under the covers and leaving them to die. There's a group that was under hunt, wasn't it? I didn't dare speak it. I will say it, man. We need to find help for this shit. So if it is indeed organized crime, and if this is indeed like happening for real, then that means that the whole villagers are just like letting it happen, and that's just insane. I guess it looks like it's either the entire village or a group of villagers perpetrating the crimes. What do you think? You're so calm and collected about this shit. Another cup of coffee, please. That's what I wanted to know. It seemed that we were both waiting for the other to say the last part. He waited for the waitress to finish pouring coffee before speaking. Last year, I had a nagging feeling when Satoshi-kun appeared. Oh, that's right, the kid who was part of the club that now nobody dares to speak of. Oishi-san muttered as he watched the milk swirl around his coffee. So those friends of Satoshi-san, meaning of your group of friends, Maebara-san, I had a bit... Really just a little bit, what are you gonna say, bro? Oh, background checking done on them? Bro, like what? If Oishi-san had said this to me before, I would have gotten angry at him for calling my friends into question. But as I was now, I couldn't. This might sound pretty stupid. If you feel that it's stupid, please say so. And I'll just stop. Oishi-san was wearing the most serious expression that I'd ever seen in front of him. It was as if he was telling me to prepare myself and listen. There were quite a few things I regretted hearing from Oishi-san, but none of them were as threatening as this. A little voice inside me was screaming, like an alarm. Stop, Keiichi. This was probably the last one. I took a deep breath and silenced that voice. I would not run from the truth. Please. That was all I could utter. Oishi-san stared into my eyes only for a few moments. After he was certain I was ready, he began. The victim of the incident in the first year was the overseer. A few weeks prior, he had an altercation with Mion Sonosaki. Multiple altercations. Oishi-san had said before that Mion had defied the dam project vehemently. Well, it wasn't hard to imagine how she'd be if she got worked up. In the second year, the married couple who supported the project died in that accident, right? Their daughter was with them at the time. Her name is Satoko Hojo-san. Yes, exactly. That's what? Satoko, my friend Satoko? The one who jokes around and makes pranks on us? Well, apparently, yes. I realized it as well. And then quickly quieted down. Yeah, my voice is too loud. Okay, so hold the fuck... Okay, hold on. So Satoko is an orphan, perhaps? Like she doesn't... Like her parents died? Or disappeared? And they supported the dam project. The Shinto priest and his wife who died in the third year, you see. Their daughter is Rika... Rika Furude-san. Okay, so Rika is also an orphan. The housewife who died in the fourth year, you know already, don't you? It was a step-aunt of Satoko. What the f... She was in her aunt and uncle's custody as she had lost both of her parents in the incident. I want to fucking... I cannot believe this shit, dude. So they never mentioned even nothing remotely close to that. I just figured that their parents weren't really important to the story, but now they are. She lived in the victim's house. Oh, but there's... Oh, okay, so now with this one is... Fuck, because now I understand what he's saying. I was focused on my friends and thinking, fuck, they were suffering, they were part of the curse because their parents died. Now I'm realizing that what Oishi-san is saying is that they were part of the crimes. They did something. Mion, okay, I understand. Okay, they had an altercation and the person died. Okay, well, fuck. But then Satoko killing her parents and her uncles. That's a whole lot of shit. I didn't even have the wits to keep my mouth from hanging agape. I had thought it was nothing but a bizarre incident, one that I could easily distance myself from. Oh man, I wish. But clicking and clacking, He has knocked all the way my feet. To my feet. The one who disappeared the 4th year, by the way. He was Satoko-san's older brother. You have to be fucking kidding me right now. Yeah, exactly, Keiichi. It took everything I had to finally say that. So Satoko has been killed in her family, maybe? Wait a minute, is that even possible? Satoko looks like the youngest of the bunch, along with Rika. Is that even possible? Oh my god. I gulped down a glass of water at once. Again, I wiped my face with a napkin. Calm down, Keiichi Maebara. But Oishi-san was relentless. Instead of waiting for me to finish sorting out my feelings, he started speaking again. You're gonna say something about Rena, right? She's the only one who hasn't been mentioned. The last of the things I shouldn't have heard. Dude, this is creepy. The movement of his mouth. My god. All the victims seem to be connected to your group of friends, including Tomitake. That just has to be a coincidence. Okay, keep it down. Relax. Everyone's looking. Mion? Satoko? Rika-chan? What about Rena? So what if they're connected? You're telling me all of my friends. It couldn't be. It just couldn't be, right? Oh god, please let Rena be different. Rena is different, isn't she? Rena isn't connected with the victims at all. So far, she isn't. Except for Tomitake. Rena Ryugu-san was living in a suburb of Ibaraki Prefecture up until last year. You're right, yeah, she's a transfer student as well. But she was talking with Mion and Satoko and Rika one day about perhaps being the next of the victims. So I don't know. Well, it's true she hadn't directly met any of the victims. He said it in a roundabout way. Is he saying she's also connected? How? Actually, I looked into her before Ryugu-san moved away to Inamisawa. She was suspended from school. Oh shit, the Higurashi. It seems she went through her school building and broke all of the windows. Are you fucking kidding me? Rena. The cute girl, the one who wants to like take things home because they're cute. That same spacey Rena had. I couldn't even imagine it. It seems that after her 3-day suspension, she didn't return to school. Okay, this shit is way more serious now. I really shouldn't know all of this also. It seems that after her 3-day suspension, she didn't return to school. She went to a neurologist and was diagnosed with dysautonomia. I apologize if I butchered that name. She was given weeks of counseling and medication. I wonder if it was something like a nervous breakdown. I heard that it happens to people who are really methodical or overly sensitive. Neither of those match Rena's easygoing personality, though. And in the counselor's medical report, he recorded all of the conversations he had with Rena-san. It shows up? And quite a bit at that. What? I pressed forward carelessly, yeah. There couldn't be anything more for me to regret. She mentioned the word Oyashiro-sama? It felt like someone's stone cold hand was caressing my back. Why had Rena spoken of Oyashiro-sama before she even came to Hinamisawa? Okay. So to her, Oyashiro-sama was like a ghost appearing in her house every night, standing over her pillow looking down at her. My mind froze. I couldn't process what I was being told. And well, after that, she moved to Hinamizawa because, of course, she had to move to Hinamizawa, which is like the land of Oyashiro-sama. Ah, that's right. She's not an outsider. Huh? Dude, the music. The music is cool. So they are relatively connected to your Oyashiro-sama. My mind went completely blank. It was similar to the static you'd see on a blank TV channel. My ears began ringing as I lost all sense of comprehension. No, I'm not. Is there more? Those words brought me back. There's no way there's more. I couldn't let it end here. Now I know about Rena. Well, the thing about Tomitake is that we kind of know that, like, legit, all of the girls are connected to Tomitake. Who was he connected with? Like, every single... Oh, well, wait, if you mean by blood, then yeah, okay. Irritated, I let out one final reprisal. Yes, all of them, eh? That's what I'm saying. You know. Keiichi, you know what happened that day. Have you forgotten, Maebara-san? We did. We spent the night together at the festival. Quite a few of the officers saw you enjoying yourselves, yes. Now there was nothing I could respond with. I felt sullen as my brain turned into mush. We should get going. Did you take your afternoon medicine? I had completely forgotten about the medicine I had gotten today until Oishi-san said that. I got another glass of water and we left the shop after I chugged it down. I'm very scared of returning to the town now because my parents are not home, but most importantly, like, not only do we know all of this information, but they hate outsiders. So they're not gonna be happy with me when I come back. We got into the car and returned to Hinamizawa via the rough road. Yeah, it's gonna be pain. I really paid attention when I was on my back. But did the car suddenly shake this much? It was almost as if the road was desperately trying to tell me something. Yeah, just don't go back. That big jolt was from the distance in the elevation of the road when it changed from cement to dirt. I was certain that I heard Tomitake-san scream. I sat in silence, just letting myself be shaken by the car. I'll drop you off at your house. You missed school because you were ill, correct? My apologies for the long conversation. Why did you talk to me? I blurted out the question. Really just blurted it out. I didn't expect an answer. I did check with you first, didn't I? If we should just stop. Not that. Why did you reach out to me? I understood quite well that Oishi-san was investigating this string of suspicious accidents. Or incidents, not accidents. They're not accidents. People are dying. But why was he telling me all of this? I knew nothing and I couldn't help. Everything Oishi-san spoke of was news to me. First of all, what could I, have just moved here, possibly know? By chance, if there was a reason for Oishi-san to reach out to me, then it would have to be that I was part of MION's circle of friends who looked suspicious to Oishi-san. I'm retiring this year. I'm planning on moving away after retiring as my mother wants. Also, how old is your mother that you're retiring as well? But whatever, dude. So while I'm still on the case, I want to bring the truth behind this incident to light. Yeah, he suspects them. All of them. Oishi-san didn't really give me a response. It felt a little late, but I thought it was his way of showing a bit of consideration for my feelings. This is mostly my intuition from 30 years on the job. Maebara-san, you're the one in danger. Huh? I wanted to reply with "that's absurd," but in my downtrodden state, I couldn't bring myself to say it. I'll be retiring this year, so I won't be at Watanagashi next year. So I want to settle things. In other words, he was insinuating that on the next Watanagashi, I might be on the next victim. I've been warned by the chief as well. Each incident in the string of cases has been solved, so don't bring it up again. Or so I was told. This is the pressure that I'm facing. Pressure from what? Well, the job, I'm guessing. Oh, okay. Someone in Namisawa. We've arrived. Is this fine? Yes, we're in danger because we arrived with you also, by the way. After some time, the car finally reached the path to my house. The clock read 2 p.m. I was surprised so little time had passed since we ate. It was hot outside the car. The chirping of the Higurashi hurt my ears. Yeah, I hear it as well. It isn't pleasant anymore. I won't mind if you just forgot everything I told you today, but I'm still going to keep investigating. I'll end Oyashiro-sama's course this year. This is very, very ambitious, to say the least. I'm gonna pause for 1 second. Alright, back. So you're saying I should contact you if anything happens? It's fine. Just contact me when you feel you have to, Maebara-san. I wasn't collecting enough to understand Oishi-san's roundabout of saying sorry. Be sure to take it easy. I'm sorry for throwing all of this at you while you're taking the day off because you're sick. I didn't really give any sort of response. I'll always be on your side. If anything, believe that. I'll be off now. The tires crunched over the dirt road as the car made a U-turn and disappeared into a cloud of kicked-up dust. It felt like I was watching a boat only throw me a lifesaver in shark-infested waters before disappearing into the distance. That was the first time I thought Oishi-san was being unfair. Telling me I was going to be the next victim, then just saying to cut on him if something happened. I mean, yeah, but the thing is, he's gonna be retiring next year, so I don't know. This wasn't a criminal investigation. He was fishing. And I was just bait dangling off the line. Will the fish be the perpetrator? Or was it really Oyashiro-sama's curse? Either way, the bait will be swallowed whole. Damn it. I don't want to die. For some time, I could do nothing but stare at the bottle of water left behind by the AC from the car. Alright, well there you go. Was that it? Was that really it? No, that was not it. Okay, hello, welcome. I wonder how much time had passed since I laid down. It was getting dark outside. My body was soaked in sweat. It would probably be a good idea to change my shits. At that moment, the phone downstairs rang. It was probably Mom. Mom was quite a worrywart. Maybe she had called many times, but I just didn't notice. Hello, this is Maebara residence. Hello, Mion. This is Mion. How you doing? Is this one of Keiichi's friends? Keiichi is resting right now, but shall I put him on? Is this his dad? Sorry. Yeah, there you go. Idiot. You fell for it, huh? After our exchange, we both had a good laugh together. Except I was suspicious of her even as we were laughing. Was everybody really involved in the accidents? The fact I couldn't say no saddened me. I relieved that you seem well. But I was really worried, you know? Satoko-chan was happy and said you got what you deserved. Riki-chan said how unfortunate he's sick. Looks like everyone was making a big deal out of it, huh? So, Kei-chan, it's now about time to go pay you a visit. A visit? No, it's okay. It's not like I'm dying. My grandma made a ton of mochi, you see, or maki, I don't know. I was told to share them. So I'll bring you some. Hey now, you catch my cold. Not to worry, but Rena and I are too stupid to catch a cold. So Rena is coming as well. Be there in a bit. She hung up cheerfully. Rena's coming too. That's what it sounded like. I was still concerned about Min and Rena, but I guess if she was with Mion. Okay. I'm nervous, dude. I heard the doorbell 10 minutes later. Oh, they're the girls. Alright, how are you feeling? So they're happy and everything is fine. It seems you take your medicine and rest. I did just that. I don't trust Rena since our last encounter, dude. The last episode was fucking scary. Thank goodness you look well. I was worried. Sorry, I'll be fine tomorrow. Mion showed a complete lack of concern for someone who was recovering, and Rena looked like she was worried about me from the bottom of her heart. It didn't look like there was anything behind those expressions. I thought we might hang out for a bit, but it looks like you're not quite in the condition for it. You don't say. It seemed my face appeared a bit sullen. Then here, Keiichi-kun. These are the I wish I heard that well, mochi, mochi, I don't know how she said it. Mi-chan's grandma made. Rena held out the package wrapped in the newspaper. There might be about 5 here. It was quite hefty. Thanks, send my regards to your grandmother, Mion. Yep. There's one that I made in there as well. Alright. I wonder if Keiichi-kun can guess which one. Dude, it's so funny how after like all the whole reveal of information on the behalf of Oishi-san is just making me look at them weirdly, right? Like knowing that Rena had issues with her attitude and broke all the windows. The whole thing about Oyashiro-sama. And then Mion has always been a little bit intimidating, but never scary. Now I don't know what to think. This is Kei-chan's homework since he missed the club meeting today. There are letters on each maki, so I'll ask you tomorrow. Were you checking if I was feeling better, or did you just come here for club activities? Guess you'll be able to make it tomorrow. Probably I will, I don't know. What are you going to do if my hibari comes back because of your shenanigans? Mi-chan, we shouldn't be making such a racket. I don't know, if I trust Mion, let's say that we trust Mion, I will probably ask Rena if she was here yesterday. My father mentioned you. That's what I will say. The other people here will get angry. Both of them thought my parents were home. Keep it that way, dude. It's because the entranceway was a mess. You're right, let's get going. By the way, Kei-chan. Yeah? Oh no. Oh hell no. I feel like my blood pressure is acting up. That damn fucking look. Dude, I'm so scared. I don't know if I want to continue. What did you eat for lunch? Oh my fucking god, dude, please. Rena's gonna do the same thing. Rena's gonna do the same thing, right? The sudden question startled me, and I went wide-eyed when I saw Mion. I had never seen her like that. It was a highly unsettling visage. But why is she asking me about what I ate for lunch? What she said was so insane, it was almost meaningless. The way she said it, it was almost like she didn't even care at all about what I ate. I ate out. She must have suspected that I was with Oishi-san. Dude, the expression is fucking me up. Anyway, I felt that if I hesitated or tried to change the subject, then they read it too deep into it, so I tried answering as quickly as possible. Except, contrary to the efforts I had made, there was a pause before they replied. Fuck, dude! So you ate out for lunch, Keiichi-kun. The glimmer from Rena's eyes had changed at some points as well. Dude, I hate this shit. Now there's two! The fuck do I do? It was now sharp, as if to make me feel the feigned ignorance behind her words even more. As if she already knew. That's how it looked to me. How do you guys know? Was it good? Why are you asking me this? Mion was speaking in an unusually low tone. Almost as if she knew that I had eaten at the restaurant in town. No, I'm overthinking this. I mean, both of them should have been in school at lunchtime. There was no way they could have known where I was. I knew something was gonna happen, dude. Seems you were with a rather austere-looking older guy. Who was he? The package with the monkey I was holding slipped out of my hands. I could tell the blood drain from my face, making me go pale. Keiichi-kun, who was he? Could it be the person from before, I wonder? I wonder. I could feel the back of my throat going dry. This was no longer a bluff. They knew everything. How do you know that? It took everything I had to finally force those words from my throat. My knees were shaking. Because there's nothing this old man doesn't know. Mion is near knowingly, and her laugh seemed to carry on forever. What did you talk about? It seems like you got pretty worked out over it too. Oh man, don't say that stupid shit. Don't say that shit. We weren't talking about you guys. It didn't have to do anything to do with you or Rena. Why are you saying that? I knew they were gonna cut up on that. Isn't it a bit strange to hear our names come up even though nobody asked about that, huh? Rena's unwavering gaze pierced through my eyes and peered further inside me. I dug my own grave. My heart was throbbing so much, it felt like it was going to explode. Well, whatever you're trying to hide, this old man already sees it through it all. Remember that. I couldn't even shake my head. It took everything I had to stop my feet from chattering. She never let her gaze broke from mine, even as she tilted her head slightly. Keiichi-kun, you don't look so good. Well, I think you should lay down. That's right. We should both head back home. Well, there they go. Okay, well, fuck. I thought that I was dead. I was so sure that I was gonna die. I was ready to die. Straight up. Like, that was... Oh my god, dude. As if nothing had happened, they both giggled at each other and started making their way out. If I see Rika and Satoko with that same gaze, I'm just gonna flip the fuck out. I haven't moved a muscle since I had dropped the package of Maki. As they left, the door slowly closed behind them. All I could do was stare, as if I couldn't move until the door was completely closed. Just as the door was about to be closed, it opened again slightly with a sudden creak, sending my heart racing once again. Holy fucking shit, dude. Hello, hello. A single eye peered in through that narrow slit, and Mion's hawkish gaze peered at me once again. See you, Kei-chan. I'd hate it if you miss school tomorrow, alright? No, man, not MION 2. Not MION 2, dude. Why? The door closed. I trusted MION. I was like, yeah, you know, if I trust MION, let's go ahead and confront Rena. Nah, fuck that. What the fuck? I don't know. I don't know. I have no fucking clue now. I'm confused as fuck, and I think that Oishi-san might be right, and these girls are just insane. I wasn't able to move a muscle even after the low laughter died off into the distance, and silence once again enveloped the room. Coming back to my senses, the first thing I did was lock the door. They knew what Oishi-san and I had talked about. Why? How? No, that wasn't important. But even like, okay, if you truly do know everything, like I'm just like, honestly, I don't know. Like, to try and save my life, I have no clue. I have no fucking clue what I would do. I'm like, yeah, you know what I'll do is just be honest and tell them like, yeah, you know, this happened and this guy contacted me, but I know nothing. And in reality, I'm just worried about you guys, and I like, if you know what I'm feeling, then you know that I want you guys to be okay, and I trust you, right? Like, that's what I would say, something like that. Thinking about it now, all of it could have been overheard from the beginning when Oishi-san met me. But like, just as MION said, I couldn't hide anything. How? Then what were they trying to tell me? That part was obvious. They were warning me not to say anything unnecessary. What did they deem unnecessary? I only talked with Oishi-san about one thing. The thing is, we didn't even say anything, did we? And they were warning me that that wasn't necessary? What was it that Oishi-san had talked to me about? The incidents involving Oyashiro-sama's cure that occurred every year weren't individual cases, but were connected as a whole, as well as the fact that there may be multiple perpetrators hidden within Inamizawa. No more precisely. That MION, Rena, Satoko, and Rikan were all suspicious. Yeah, that's the thing. Is that what they were warning me against? We mentioned their names. What kind of nonsense am I thinking about? I hit my own face hard enough that it let out a loud slap. If only that would wake me from this nightmare, but for some reason it felt like I was punching a blanket. It was almost laughably painless. Calm down, Keiichi Mahabara. When did I become such a pessimist? Calm down, calm down. Settle down and sort things out. The reason MION knew I was eating lunch with Oishi-san was probably because somebody from Inamizawa just happened to be there at the time. This might have told MION that I was there. That made the most sense. Plus, come to think of it, she didn't ask me where I ate lunch, did she? She only asked, was it good? They were just curious since I was together with someone and not from Inamizawa. It's not as if they had my ulterior motives. That's it. That has to be it. Thinking about it that way, it was the same with Rena. I was just being strangely ambiguous about when I met Oishi-san, and Rena was just correcting me on that. I don't fucking know, dude. They did said that nothing escapes their side or something like that. They know everything, right? Like, we could pass it off as that, and perhaps it is the fact that I'm so sick or something is happening, because like, we tried to pass off the whole idea of Rena screaming at us because we are sick or something like that, right? Like, he was saying like, yeah, or no, what we said was that Rena was another person, that somebody took Rena's form, but that doesn't make any sense. Then how do you explain Rena stalking us yesterday? And then what about, I think that it is for real something creepy, because like, we're trying to say, oh, perhaps I just, like, everything was ambiguous and everything was clear. Reality of the situation is they did say that we were hanging out with with Oishi-san. Not exact, yeah, because they mention the old man, so they know. That's when I was bewildered by the change in character from the usual mild-mannered Rena, and was just startled by it. That's the most natural way of thinking about it. No, dude. You're trying to use logic to explain this type of situation, and there is none. It felt like my mind was mixed up like a tangled mess of spaghetti. Deep red marinara sauce will have poured out of my nose and ears if you squeezed my head, okay? Thinking that, I suddenly felt like vomiting. I really didn't want that to happen. I stopped holding my head. Lately, I had no idea what anyone was saying. The thing is, it could be that perhaps we ourselves are sick and we're imagining things, but I don't think that's the case. I think that they are legit acting this way. How can you imagine a screen? And also, like, we cannot blame it on ourselves, simply because our father also saw Rena yesterday. So that alone also indicates that everybody else is experiencing the same situation that we are. Spending time with them was fun. Didn't feel like there was any sort of a hidden agenda. I really did think that they're a good bunch of people. When I just moved here, I couldn't make heads or tails of everything. They were just really kind to me. Rena was really kind and always looked after me. As long as a strange affliction didn't rear its ugly head, she was really pretty cute. Mion is also a really good person. I think that the guy is super crush for Rena, right? She didn't care about anyone's age or gender. She was just optimistic and ongoing. I was never bored when I was with her. I'm talking of not getting bored. Rambukshin Satoko was a good person for that too. She was pretty bratty, but that was just the way she interacted with others. Rika-chan was the same way. She didn't speak often, but that didn't mean she was always silent. They're my friends. But after hearing of the better-told secrets of Inamisawa from Moishi-san and Tomitake-san, when I was told about Oyashiro-sama's curse, the things started going crazy. Then hearing from Moishi-san that Mion, Rena, Satoko, and Rika-chan were all suspicious, after that everyone changed. That's right. It all started getting weird after Oishi-san told me all that strange stuff. At that time, I really should have just not listened to those weird stories. I shouldn't even have asked about Tomitake-san about past incidents of the night of the Guantanagashi. If I just hadn't gotten that strange curiosity, if I just hadn't... That's right. So that's why they killed Tomitake-san? Or I was gonna say, what the hell is this? Censorship? The fuck is this censorship? I don't want my game censored. That impudent outsider speaking of the likes of me after everybody went out of their way to keep it a secret from me. They probably kill Oishi-san as well. Yeah, I think that's kill. For trying to unearth what everybody was warning me was better left buried. Besides that, he was unforgivable for spewing words that made me doubt the others. Of course, a guy like that is going to be killed. But Tomitake-san and Oishi-san were nothing but outsiders after all. They were entities who couldn't coexist with the people of Inamisawa. Those guys should just fall to Oyashiro-sama's curse and just die. It wasn't their fault. It was my fault for not being able to hold back my curiosity. It wasn't their fault. It wasn't their fault. It wasn't their fault, it wasn't their fault, it wasn't their fault, it wasn't their fault, it wasn't their fault. I settled into a daze. It was a lethargic feeling, like I had just gotten up, but the ominous chill that haunted me had subsided. I was fine now. I was no longer frightened. I completely recovered. I go to school tomorrow, right as rain. I greet everyone. I take part in club activities. It'll definitely be fun. It had to be fun. I was one of them after all. Ah, that reminds me. I need to eat those mochi. I hope I'm able to tell which one Rena made. I remember the homework the two brought with them when they visited me. But while our club did delivery, that was something else. I picked up the package I dropped on the floor and headed into the living room. It would be nice, I guess, to have some tea with it. To fill my mouth with mochi while drinking tea. Oh, this was quite a delectable situation I was in. Opening up the newspaper wrapping, there were 5 plump red bean paste mochi fit snugly inside. There were letters written from the left to the right of the newspaper. A, B, C, D, E. Now then, they said Rena made one of those. I wonder which one. There wasn't much of a difference in how they looked. They smelled and appeared about the same. This was a pretty difficult problem. The biggest difference was probably their shape. I wasn't so sure that what kind of person Mion's grandma was, but Rena has to be different from hers. Huh. Looking carefully, I could see one monkey that was made very neatly. So well that just by staring at it, one could tell it stood out. Looks like this channel depends on whether or not this one is Rena's. Calm down and think even harder. Mion had said her grandma made a ton of them. I was told to give some out, if I remember correctly. So that meant 4 of these were from the large batch. Then what about Rena? She probably only made 1. So she probably spent quite a bit of time on it. Meaning the one Rena had made was the one E. For a moment I thought it might have been a trap Mion laid as she knew I'd picked up on it. But that probably wasn't the case. I wouldn't be so sure if I knew Mion had made it. But since she said Rena made it, probably wasn't a trap. Alright. My tea is ready too. I'll start with the defending champ, Mion's grandma. Let's see. Well, you know, just like that. Not bad. What a change of pace, huh? The smooth bean paste and soft chewy texture left little to be desired. The tea I drank afterwards also accentuated the experience. This was an exquisite piece of work. Now, how about Rena's? The creation was so delicate, one would think it was a high-class Japanese dessert. Since I normally had quite the appetite, I was slightly worried about the size of the portion. As well as, first a bite. This was quite a difficult one to judge, actually. The ingredients were exactly the same, so there was little difference in flavor. But what was different was how it was shaped at the end, so it was to be expected. So the deciding factors will be presentation and volume. A well-formed, well-sized champion versus Rena the challenger, with a size you just couldn't get enough of. I'd only had 1 bite of Rena's. I will probably have to wait until after I was done eating to make my decision. Maybe there was something hidden inside that could cause an upset. But since my prediction was right, my tongue touched something. It didn't feel like something edible, so I reached with my fingers and grabbed it. Excuse me, what? What? What is this? Before I could fully comprehend what it was, I threw away the rest of the monkey. I was eating as fast as I could. I slumped against the wall, causing the bean jam to splatter. Then after sticking for a moment, it slid down to the floor. I was dumbstruck by my own actions. What was I doing? And I had gone out of her way to make it for me. How cool I? But what the fuck did she do? Dumbstruck, I looked down at the hand that performed such a vile act. Then I remembered I had taken it out of my mouth. At first I thought it was a hair. Even though it was shorter than Mia's, Rena's hair was quite long. And it wasn't this short. It was also a bit too hard to be hair. It was thick enough to roll around on my tongue. There was a bit of a metallic sheen on one end of it, and yes, there was a hole, and where thread goes through, like it was a sewing needle. Yes, that's right. Looked very much like a sewing needle, exactly like one. The end was pointed as well, quite sharply. It really did look like just a sewing needle. Huh? What did I mean by looked very much like a sewing needle just a bit ago? I couldn't answer. But a voice inside me already knew. I let me know by chattering my molars together. I couldn't stave off the terror welling up inside me. Suddenly I tasted something metallic and felt a prickling pain at the back of my throat. I stuck my finger in the back of my mouth. I felt around to see if I was bleeding. Suddenly I felt the urge to vomit. The sharp taste of bile irritated the back of my throat. I clasped both my hands over my mouth, and after writhing in agony, I was somehow able to hold back the nausea. I was finally able to breathe normally again, but this time my heart was throbbing intensely. Then it finally registered. Exactly what was mixed in with the maki. Before I could think of the correct word, my hands were already on the move. Splat. Flop. Splort. Okay. Apologize for that. I tossed the rest of the maki against the wall. Oh, okay. Ugh. Ugh. The geometrical patterns of the scatter bean jam on the wall suddenly invoked a terrible omen in my mind. After looking away, I dashed out to the hall and flew upstairs to my room, where I stayed under my covers until morning. I clutched my own shoulders, howling madly in a mix of anger and sadness and frustration. There wasn't a thread of warning or reminder, nothing as simple as that. What had happened in Namisawa? What is happening in Namisawa? What will happen? I didn't know the answer to any of those questions. Why did I break a taboo? Regardless, how Rena, Mion, and the others, they considered me an enemy. And they thought I should just die. Yeah, they put something metallic and they almost killed me essentially with a maki. I hate it if you miss school. Oh my god, dude. That got lethal super fast. I won't let you kill me. Not for such a pointless reason. I fell into a restless sleep, and as I was crushed by my negative emotions. It was as if I was being drawn into a believing bottomless swamp. Holy smokes, dude. They tried to kill me. Alright. There you go. We unlocked a couple of tweets. Hard to swallow. We unlocked also an achievement. That is insane. They try to kill us with something like a sewing needle or something like that. Oh my god, imagine that. Right? Like imagine swallowing something like that. Maybe view new tips. Threat. I want to know what this is. Those guys just now. Okay. I just want to get to the... Okay, intellectual crime. Apparently they're talking about the Sonosaki family. Okay, they're talking about the Sonosaki family. And they're talking about like the way they handle the political matters. Huh. Okay, they're eating and so on. Another fastest, I think they said. Okay, I'm scrolling past this one. Okay, this time we're in Oishi-san's perspective. I want to know about the threat. What is this thing? I have to believe this really occurs. Yeah, I know that Oishi-san doesn't believe it. Okay, yeah. Bro, like, look, when it isn't like exactly part of the main story, I'm not as interested. But like, I appreciate, you know, what's happening and the extra lore, but like, I wonder if I'll be able to repay that loan. Well, I got nothing because I kind of skipped through it. But I think that because I thought that there would be like a bow and threat more than anything. Apparently they're talking about a loan from perhaps that's why he's trying so hard to get to the case. But that's about it. Anyway, I apologize for skipping through most of that. I just wanted to get to the meat of the situation. I thought that perhaps Oishi was going to get a threat from someone who in Namisawa. But that wasn't the case. Anyways, thank you for watching that, and I'm end it right here. That was extremely interesting to know about the whole situation about my friends. But yes, that was real. I really don't know what to expect for the next episode. Let's find out. Let's see how it goes. But it's looking quite interesting for sure.